Hey everybody, it's Rob here. Welcome to my updated tier list for Season 4. So we already made a tier list a couple of weeks back if you remember, but there has been a couple of things we weren't like 100% sure about and we haven't had the chance to test everything with the short span of the PTR. But now we have all the data here for you and I have looked at many clears. I've been talking to many of the top players and I have a full list here that I'm going to link in the description as well in an Excel sheet that we're going to go over now, and we look at all the top clears. So keep in mind that a lot of this is also recommended builds. It's not only based on how easy it is to do the pits, even though that is a big factor, how fast it can do the pits and the uber bosses. I'm going to show you the pit list at the end as well. But it's also much based around accessibility, how easy it is to play on the current and the given builds. And this is also factored in. So the current highest pit clear is that I know of is 139, and this guy is playing on a Necromancer. He unlocked 141. So this is definitely gonna happening later in the video, but we're gonna start from 10 and work our way there all the way to rank 1 and rank 2 and the top 3. So first of all, I want to show this build here. This is the Werenado Druid. Initially, we thought this build would be way stronger. It's still a very strong build, and there's still the Thunderstruck node that is basically uncapped. This is a video here from Dron. It's all going to be linked as well. And he's blasting pit 112 with the Werenado Druid, and he found a pretty cool way to make it very tanky with the Turael's Might. I think he's rocking 80 plus all resistance with Turael's Might. And historically, this build had a lot of damage, but was very, very squishy. And he found a decent way to make it tanky, and I'm pretty sure he will be pushing this to higher pits levels very soon. There's another top Druid build in our list here that we will talk about in a little bit. But this is a very, very solid option and a pretty cool build in general. Very fun to play. Reminded me a lot of the Barbarian with all the twisters and all the tornadoes. And just a super cool build overall. Definitely recommend if you like the playstyle. You're constantly a werebear, a werewolf. Like you're shifting around. You guys can see here when he is moving, I think. After he kills the spec, he is getting a lot of buffs. So now he's a werebear, and then when he's attacking again, he's a werewolf. He's a human in between when he casts his pets, and you always play the shepherd multiplier with various other effects. The planners and everything are gonna be in the description in the Excel document sheet. So this one is pretty cool and super enjoyable build. Just a little more on the squishy side on the base version, but this Turael's Might version is very, very tanky, and in fact he can even, I believe, face tank the boss somewhat. You see here, this is his boss fight. And I don't think he has to run away much. You see, he just takes him face on. And this has been the biggest problem to solve for the Werenado Druid because DPS is insane. And now he can actually kind of face tank the boss mechanics. And this just makes it a very, very solid build. And just a cool choice if you want to play the season. And he just blasts this boss down here at the end. So pretty cool stuff. Definitely a strong build, and we'll see what's possible. I'm pretty sure this is gonna push like within the 120s and stuff. So it's looking pretty nice as he beats this boss. Bam, dead. There you go, 112 on the Druid. Werenado is our number 10. Then at number 9, we have a build here that's hitting for over 1 billion already on rank 9. So you see what's coming in the top clears here. This is a Bone Spirit Necromancer. And you guys can see here what kind of hits he's producing. So you basically pixel everything with the corpse tendrils. And then he's shooting this bone spirit and it's unloading all his essence. And then there's a new mechanic that makes it regenerate that essence instantly. And you guys can see here the big hit. Like this is no hit, this is the first hit. See this explosion, it's like overpowering, guaranteed with Banished Lord Talisman. It's dealing tremendous amount of damage here, 1.2 billion. And yeah, it's just crushing here in a pit 115. He cleared this, I think, in like 12 minutes or something. So pretty cool pit clear. This one can also be used to speed farm in the open world for everywhere, basically. It's also a decent boss killer. And this truly is the season of the Necromancers. And this one build is by far not the strongest Necro build, but this one is very nice and very enjoyable to play. Big pixels, big numbers. If you like big numbers, and don't like the Holy Bolt Elixir much, this is definitely a build for you. As he's like crushing all these dudes here. You guys can see a 600 million like constantly on every bone spirit after pixeling them with the corpse tendrils. And yeah, just insane amount of essence depletion and then generation again. So pretty cool stuff here. Big hits all the time, and I think he also blasted down here. Rather comfortable. You see he has a lot of time left. On the boss, it's also rocking a lot. So he just grinds this guy down here and clears it. Boom, pretty comfortable. 115 done in 10 minutes. So definitely a lot more potential to go up, maybe in the 120s. Pretty sick. Next here we have pretty much a new build in a way. It's the Dust Devil, but with Leap. This is exactly what I played in my 200 clear, if you guys remember, when we did it on the PTR. Obviously, it's not as strong, but you see here, his twisters are still hitting up to, I think there was some hits for even tens of millions. And he's playing Leap together with the Rumble Glyph and various multipliers from your Earthquakes. You see a 9 million hit, 50 million, and it's going like a lot. And these twisters are hitting very hard. He's triggering them with Leap. No Whirlwind, no Dust Devil, even though you can play those variants as well. And this guy did here 113, which is the highest clear that I could find with this clear. And it definitely is very possible to do like very fast, very low content, like tier 100, tier 90 speedruns with this build, like hitting with tens of millions with your twisters, and he does the 113 with this build. And I was playing this build a lot in speedruns. You can see here, this is me leveling. I actually managed to level this Barbarian in 4 hours to level 97. So we reached like level 100, I think, in 420. And yeah, this build is absolutely crushing it. Like you can combine it with Turel's Might, and you see all these twisters that are triggering. So this is the Whirlwind version that I play here. Also very enjoyable, very fast. I think this is probably one of the fastest clears in general for Nightmare Dungeons. You see we're doing a 92 4-player party, and I'm just going along. This is not Artillery Shrine, it's just Turel's Might being completely insane and just killing everything basically. You just go, there's twisters, there's artilleries, like everything is spawning all the time. Turel's Might, Whirlwind Barb. You can also play a double swing version. Many different setups here possible. And yeah, this build just has been one of the most fun builds for me to rock into the season with. And it's just basically spin to win. You're not dealing direct damage with Whirlwind. I hope at some point in the future they're addressing this. But you're just going, and the twisters and the artillery is just killing everything here in a 4-player party. And again, this was just a fresh Barbarian. No glyphs leveled yet. We were just basically starting out, and it's been a blast with this build. Then coming in at number 7 is the Wind Shear Druid. And Ace of Spades here did 116 with this build. This is slightly higher than the Werenado clears we've seen. So 116 he did. And it's a pretty strong build. There's been some full gameplay here from Limona. A Chinese blaster here is doing like 114 with this build. Just for some extra gameplay, I will show you this here. Because it's basically pretty cool. You have Shred to move around, and then you have this Wind Shear. It's a pretty tanky build. And you can also play it like somewhat ranged, but you do more damage when you're like kind of closer. And he's just blasting these, like piercing through. This is a basic skill Wind Shear. And it's going through everything here and just having a really solid time clearing this, because you have a lot of recovery. You can play the Undying, and just in general, a pretty cool build here to just rock the high pits. If the Werenado is too squishy for you, this build is definitely even better in terms of surviving it. We will see in the end if Werenado will pull ahead of this, because Werenado has a bit higher damage ceiling, but this build is more safe and also has very good AoE. As you can see here, this Wind Shear just pierces everything, and this is a 114 clear that he did. On the boss fight, it's also pretty chill. Like you can just keep your distance, kind of dodge stuff, and just like blast down the boss here. There's a big dot on the boss here. You see 50 million dots. And yeah, 116 here done from Ace, so a really cool build, and check them out in the description. Very nice. This is the highest Druid clear at the moment that I was able to find, 116. Highest Druid clear. And next we have on rank number 6, we have the Firebolt Immortal Sorcerer. So it is still possible to have 100% flame shield uptime. This is gameplay here from Mekuna. And you guys can see he's in 116. He actually did 119 with this build. So this is like the highest Sorc tier. So just in around 120, highest Sorc tier. So Druid is 116, Sorc is like 119, something like that. I think they'll both like be around 120 here, probably in a couple of days. And yeah, this build is basically revolved around Flame Shield, and you have a permanent immunity, just like I showed you in my previous tier list. It's still possible. Blizzard, like I guess, like try to fix some parts of it with the Hectic nerf, but the Flame Shield duration temper is just insane for this kind of immortal build. So you see here the Flame Shield is not even close to be down, right? See, he's attacking and the Flame Shield is already up when it's only half the duration. So I think the only way to somewhat address the immortality of this build is to make the Flame Shield cooldown only start whenever the duration of the Flame Shield ends. This is a thing they did in Diablo 3. I'm not saying nerf Sorcs. In fact, Sorc and Druid need a lot of help. But I think Blizzard made it clear that they do not want these kind of immortal builds where you just, your toughness doesn't matter at all because you're just fully immortal. But Sorcerer definitely needs, I would hope that we would get some, I don't know, buffs again to Frozen Orb, or they revert some of the nerfs they did to certain specs. Because Sorc doesn't really have much right now, and the kind of this immortal build is the only thing that it has going. So definitely, I'm not saying like, you know, take away the perma immortality, just give Sorc and probably Druid as well some love for the mid-season patch. I think that would be very much appreciated for the Sorcerer and Druids enjoyers, because they are stuck at around 120 and they can't clear much higher, it seems, while all the other classes are around 10 tiers higher. And I'll show you the clears here in this video. So let's move on. This is a Sorc Fireball. Check out Mekuna. Pretty cool stuff. Blasting a lot. And yeah, doing it pretty smoothly here, I think, with the full immortality. Very chill build. Also very hardcore friendly if you have the right items, because, well, you can't die unless you lag out. But then again, if you're lagging out, then you should probably not play hardcore. Coming in on rank 5, big surprises here, is the Rogue. There is a full build guide here for my friend Lucky Luciano, and he's able to one-shot, for example, Duriel here. You see, this is like him. I think all the Uber bosses can be one-shotted with this build. Boom, 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 boom. It's a rapid fire, pretty cool sound effects as well. There's 20 arrows, all hitting for 200 something million, so this is more than 4 billion per shot. And there's also currently 123 clear that I was able to find here from a Chinese friend. I'm going to link all these in the sheet. You can see here he's kind of blasting this down. And this is just rapid fire, going ham. This is actually not a bugged build as far as I know, and very, very strong for the Rogue. You see here all these kind of damage numbers that he's producing. And he's very, very solidly, I think it was also like a pretty fast run, clearing this 123. So he's like just 5 minutes in, he's already at like 70, 60, 70%. And he just blasts down those elites with the rapid fire. Again, this is not the bugged Rogue build. We will get to the bugged Rogue. The bugged Rogue is doing way more damage than this. But this is still a very solid build. And he also manages to take down the boss here in the end. Just basically keep attacking. I don't know how much time he will have left. But yeah, you see on a stagger he does even more damage. And it's just a super cool playstyle because there's a very nice sound effect of like rockets firing whenever you fire these rockets. Not sure if you can hear it here. Yeah, you see here. You hear that beautiful sound? Just blasting down these rockets. And cool. Yeah, the Rocket Rogue here, blasting 123. Big clear, big clear. That's our number 5. Then coming in at number 4 is the strongest Rogue build and one of the strongest builds in the game. Currently here, rocking 131. So another like 7 tiers up about the non-bug rapid fire Rogue. This is the Victimize Rog. It's double dipping, a lot of damage multipliers. And you guys can see here this crazy damage. Like he just goes on the high tier and he just like starts shooting these monsters. And they're going down here. And I'll show you another video here. This is like they have billions of life. And this damage here is only coming from a double dipping mechanic. It allows it to do multiple magnitudes of more damage because all the multipliers are squared. And yeah, 131, pretty insane clear here. I think they have a lot more potential to go up because they have very consistent clears as well. They're not relying on the holy bug elixir. They can basically just do it with their own double dipping mechanic bugs. And this has been insane in terms of clearing, and also insane if you need to level your materials to upgrade your gear, because you can do this like 20 tiers lower, 110 speeds, like 2 minutes I've seen. This Rogue is insane. You can also do it in the open world. You can kill the world bosses. You can kill all the Uber bosses. The build has insane amounts of damage. You'll see it here on the boss. Like this boss here has trillion life almost. Maybe not quite, like half a trillion, I think, this on 131. And he's just like rocking this down. Like he's like doing billions of DPS to this boss. And clears it with quite some time left as well. So he has like almost 3 minutes left in this clear. So there's definitely potential to go much higher than 131. And this is done here from Sergey It's also going to be all linked in the sheet that is in the description. And yeah, pretty impressive clear here. Rocking like crazy. Big thumbs up. I'm going to subscribe to this guy. Oh, I already am. Nice. And that's a pretty crazy build. And there's another version of this build. And this one might be even crazier. It's also Victimize. But now you're not playing the Heartseeker, because this is all with a Heartseeker generator that's triggering it, this skill. And this one here is playing with Penshot. And just watch this clip here. So this is the Penshot Rogue. This is in 125. Not quite as high, but like watch the damage here. This is insane AoE, like crazy scaling. You see, he pulls these enemies, then he starts shooting, and then this like, it goes so fast. And then his Victimize starts proccing. So basically it does no damage until the Victimize goes crazy, and then boom, this pack is basically one shot in 125, like, there's like 10% life left. It's completely insane. Boom, dead. And I think this entire Rogue also blasts down the boss here as well. And I think it's hitting for billions of damage on the boss. I mean, you can watch the video for yourself, it's all gonna be in the description. I kinda wanna see if we get some numbers here. I saw his Victimize hit there for 500 million. Now only like a 250 million here. I mean only. Oh yeah, DPS is crazy basically on this build. Yeah, there must be a couple good hits here. So whenever the Victimize is proccing here, 1 billion damage here again on the Rogue. Just absolutely blasting. This is gonna be per proc. And there's many procs here. 1 billion, 1.4 billion, 500 million, here again 500 million. Like that Rogue is going nuts, man. And super incredible clear as well. So big shout out. I can't pronounce the names here. But again, it's going to be in the sheet here, this guy. On Billy. Really strong, 125. Then next, coming in hot after all the rogues. This is the top rogue build. Victimize double dip. Top 4. Then we are coming in. And I was kind of debating to put a rogue on top or barb on top. But I came out like, since the rogue is mainly revolving on a bug, I'm going to put this Giga Chat, do not hit me, Thorns Barbarian. I'm sure many of you have seen it. This guy is rocking 400,000 life, ultra wide Barbarian. Pretty crazy. And he did 130 with his Thorns Barb. And you can also do billions and billions of damage with the normal Thorns mechanic. This is all thanks to the new Razor Plate and the Needle Flare aspect, basically working like area damage. You guys can see here how he is blasting. He doesn't lose any life. He's in 130. He's like double the timer. He's not losing any life. And I think at the moment, this is the build that clears the highest. That is not based on a bug. At least as far as I know. There is some funky damage calculation that I'm not 100% sure of how they work or how it's intended to work. But Thorns Barb is dealing a lot of damage, and it sure shows here. I think he even had time left. So you're basically just pulling in those monsters. Like in the run, you're basically just pulling in those monsters, and you stand there, and you let those monsters attack you, basically until they die. And the more monsters there are, the more monsters, and you don't lose any life. Like he has 400,000 life. He's not losing any life. It's just permanently full, and he always wants to be fortified, because there is a new aspect, a new temper roll that gives you more thorns when you're fortified. So he's just perma-fortify, big thorns all the time. And he is hitting these packs, like again, this is 130. These guys have 1 billion life, and he just melts them all. And he also manages to melt the boss at the end here. And we went over the entire gear. I have a video up. It's also going to be in the sheet. It's also going to be here on the YouTube channel. And yeah, he just like basically lets the archers live here and just let them hit him. Let everything hit him. He can tank everything. He's 400,000 life, like nothing can kill him. And 130 done on the Thorns Barb. And this build can also be very comfortably played for killing bosses. I was actually able to do 37 billion damage with this build. So 37 billion. And it's basically just Duriel here. Like he attacks you with his maggots. And once the Needle Flare procs, you guys can see here already. Needle Flare procs, like these maggots attack. And then this is Uber Duriel, level 200 Duriel. He dies in one hit just with the thorns. There you have it. Bam. What was it? 37 billion. He's just getting blasted completely. So yeah, pretty strong builds here. Thorns Barbarian coming in very, very hot here at number 3. And then maybe it's going to surprise a few people. On rank 2, I have the Minion Necromancer. There is many variations of this. You can play a golem focused, you can play mage focused. It's good for everything. It's good for leveling. It's very good for the pit. In fact, at the moment, this one has the highest pit clear that I've been able to see. He did 139 and he unlocked 141. I have the full video also in the description here on my channel. I uploaded it yesterday. And yeah, there is some pretty crazy discrepancy between this and other builds, of course, in terms of damage multipliers. And that's also what makes it so strong. But on the high end, this build is also revolving about around the holy bucket, the holy bolt elixir. So it's making it even stronger. There is the clear here. So this is the 139. You see, he is like triple the time. He did it in 10 minutes, man. It's like a speed run for him. So he'll probably be rocking in the middle of 140s. Like I'm thinking like 145 or something, maybe next week or in the next days here. We'll see how crazy the scaling is. But I did some calculations, and those bosses, I also say it here in my X post, those bosses here has about 2 trillion life. So if your build is not doing billions of damage, you have no chance of killing this before Diablo 5 comes out. Like if you are fighting on your Druid or on your Sorc, which is pretty sad, if you're fighting a target that has multiple trillions, this is like thousands of billions of health. So even if you're doing 1 billion damage every second, guys, to kill this guy, you would have to 2,000 seconds, right? If you do have 1 billion DPS, you divide this by 60, that's half an hour. And you're not gonna do it if you only have 1 billion DPS. No way. This guy has trillions of life and you only have 15 minutes. So, I mean, it's actually crazy. I'm really hoping that they're gonna do something about Sorc and Druid, because they are like on 120, and this guy here, and also some of the Barb stuff and the Rogue, like they are easy 130, some of them in the 140s. So we'll see if a Sorc will ever manage to kill this before Diablo 5 comes out. We'll see. But again, the Minion Necro is insane. It's completely blasting, killing everything here, and the boss is, yeah. Kill is very fast. Like, I've seen some numbers here, and this is like on the boss clear. You can watch the video for yourself. Again, it's in the sheet. He's hitting for 100 billion damage per spike here, and this is an overpowered. Sorry for the bad quality. It's very hard to see in this footage. But yeah, the boss fight just, you know, just goes down very quickly. And boom, there you have it. 139 done, basically. And he unlocks the 140. You see, 141 gets unlocked here. Completely insane. And this is like one of the best overall builds, no matter what you want to do, guys. If you had any world boss or something, you're just gonna rock. It's gonna die pretty much immediately. There's gonna be many minion enjoyers, and this has basically been the season of the Necromancer. I've been calling it. But there is one problem that and this is my tier list, right? I could have put this on number 1, but I know many people that really like minions, but there's also many people that don't like the minions so much. And the minion AI is kind of a problem in many ways. Like, they're kind of stupid. They're also revolving around some bugs with the Holy Bolt Elixir, and some multipliers are being squared just like on the Rogue. And so what is the rank 1 build for me for the season, and I made a video on this already, is the Bash Barbarian. This one is not getting nerfed, contrary to what some websites and some videos also of myself stated, because Blizzard has communicated this incorrectly, but they have fixed it. There's multiple statements on X from Adam Fletcher and on the official forums that Bash Barb is here to stay. It's staying multiplicative. And I think this is one of the easiest builds to start the season with. It's one of the easiest builds to get into. It's one of the most straightforward builds, just like Whirlwind. You basically just go there, you press your bash, and stuff starts dying. Really easy. It's the true Barbarian spec, man. You just smash and you bash. And this one can kill basically any Uber boss with ease. This is probably the easiest build to kill Lilith with. Again, this is with not good gear. This was like a couple days ago. My gear was kind of mid, and you can do way more damage than this. I've seen this hit for almost a billion damage fully, and I'm like hitting for a couple hundred here, you see. But yeah, she is melting, and you can even carry people. It's completely insane. You can kill any boss in the game. And even from the very start, it's strong. Like, you're level 50 or something, you get one of these bash tempers. You pretty much only need one. Like, you get these tempers here, bash cleaves for X damage. It goes insane, and I mean, it's no shocker to many people that this is the build that I've been recommending from even before the season started. I had it in A tier, but I can now comfortably say, after playing it and after, you know, figuring out some more mechanics after the season launched here, that this build is just insane. It's the best for every content. It's also the best for beginning players because it's just so easy to play. It's very tanky. You have a lot of healing, very easy to understand. Like, you just press your bash and it goes. The only downside I would say of this build is that it does have a bit of limited AoE damage. You know, like the AoE damage isn't crazy. You can play a bleed version like I'm doing right now here. There's a super tanky version with Iron Skin. There's just many different versions. There's even a very tryhard version that we will also talk about here in a second, with even more bleeds than this. But yeah, this kills everything. It's super fun. You can, for me, it basically has been one of the best pit farmers. Let me drink a sec. I've been talking for so long, so let's enjoy this video for a second. So this is also one of the best builds to farm materials with. I've actually been on the grind, guys, because there is a big patch coming on Tuesday, and we're gonna get a lot cheaper upgrading. So this is one of the best builds to farm iron, Neath Iron, next to the Rogue. Probably Heartseeker Rogue or the Penshot Rogue and the Bash Barb are like really strong in just consistently speed farming, like 100s, 105, whatever you like, or 95, 90, wherever your speed level is. You can just rock this like very comfortable, and it's just very efficient materials to do the bit of lower tiers, and it helps you out so much of upgrading your gear. So if you are looking to farm some materials, or if you're not sure what to play this season, or if you haven't made a barb yet, I strongly encourage you to try it. I don't think you will regret it. Literally, there are so many options on the barb. You can play Thorns if you like the playstyle. You can play Dust Devils for leveling if you want. You can play here the Bash Barb, which is like, again, one of the best builds in the end game for everything. I think the current highest pit is a bit of a mystery because there's a lot of people in China that are playing a very specific, a very try-hard version of this build. And you guys can see here, I'm doing like 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. This is like kind of what I'm aiming for these runs. And it even kills the boss extremely fast. You can see me here, a boss kill. And generally this build is so tanky, you can just tank the boss. You see here, I'm just like standing on the boss. I don't even have to dodge anything. I'm just standing there like a true man, and we just bash it down, and boom, down it goes. 100 done. 2 minutes, and you get 60 Neath Iron per clear. So if you do 3-minute clears, you know, like here, this was 2.5. Okay, but let's say it's 3 minutes. So we have 60 divided by 3, that's 20 runs per hour, and we're getting like about 55. That's 1,000 Neath Iron per hour if you want to blast it. So yeah, this is about 3 hours of farming right here. I mean, if you are like a bit slower, you maybe make 600, 700 Neath Iron per hour, but that's still insane, man. So definitely a build here that I very warmly recommend. And people have been pushing this. I think the highest push right now here is I see 129 with the bash. This is like a video I found that has been shared with me from my friends at China, from Seizing here. And this one is basically rocking 129 boss here in this clip. There are much higher clears, but it's very hard to find footage. And I have not played this build so high myself. Not yet anyways. And you guys can see here, this guy is playing the bleed version. This one is only recommended if you're like really advanced, and it's also revolving around some, you know, double dipping mechanic with Berserk ripping again with the Holy Bolt elixir. You still have to dodge the boss, and it's not an easy setup. You're gonna be fine playing the normal bash setup, but this is definitely something you can do if you like. I'm also gonna have all these planners. They're all up on my builds. So if you go on this link here, like rob2628/builds, you have access to all the builds, and everything in the tier list will also be here. So you can just look for bash, and there's basically a bash version here for all the stuff. So most people, Iron Skin version, again, I have a separate video, boss killer version, there's the holder that I use for the pit farming, and there's a push version, and then there's the Chinese bleed push version. And this one is actually bleeding here for, you see here, 14 billion damage per bleed tick. So it's getting insanely crazy. Like, we have the full boss kill here. But yeah, again, this is very try-hard build, and very much not easy to play or to get into. You see here like how the boss is starting to bleed on this high tier, like it's 129. And the boss is dying pretty fast if you're doing those bleeds. but it's very hard to set up and very hard to play. But if that's your style, this is done by scaling high, almost over 9,000. I think he's gonna get there, but this is his crit damage. And he's using the gushing wounds. So 60 crit chance and 8,000 or almost 8,000 crit damage to scale the bleed to crazy numbers. But yeah, there is also here a screenshot of a Barbarian here in 139. I'm not sure if this was done in a party or so, or if he's really clearing this. We'll see. I'll keep you guys posted from what I find here. But the overall, guys, it may not be the highest pit clear, because I think the highest pit clear is this Necromancer. But for overall accessibility and how easy the build is to play, at least if you're not playing the bleed version, you're gonna have a good time blasting all the way up to in the mid of 120s. If you want to go 130 plus, you have to play bleed, and then you are revolved around Holy Bolt Elixir again. So that's not necessarily recommended. But yeah, that has been my top build tier list. 10 top builds. I have the full list here. I want to show this to you at the end. There's all the player links that I could find so far. And if you find, and obviously as time continues, the clears will go higher and higher and higher. But I have every clear listed here. Every link is going to be in here. There's all the planners and all these links like link to the people that have actually cleared it. So if you click at the 130 Thorns, like it's going to take you, you know, to the 130 Thorns clear here from Do Not Hit Me. So check out all these creators that has been sharing this stuff. So unfortunately, I don't have this 139 or 138 clears from the Barb. But I will do my best to find them. And if you have any higher clears, feel free to let me know in the comments. And also what you think about the clears and about the current, you know, imbalance a little bit. So I have my class ranking by power a little bit updated. I think Necro is still number 1 in terms of pure power. Barb is number 2. I think Rogue and Barb are kind of even, I think. You could even think that Rogue is better than Barb. We'll see. Like the Rogue has crazy builds, and the Barb has crazy builds, and the Necro has even crazier builds. And then there is Sorcerer and Druid kind of here at the end. So I would kind of hope, like I said here in the X post that I'm also going to be linking in the description, that they may look at Sorcs and Druids a bit for the half-season patch, because they seem to be at least 10, if not 20 tiers behind all the other classes. And I've only pretty much been talking about the S+, the S, and the A tier. And yeah, there's also stuff here. The top B tier also made it in. And there's definitely a lot of stuff here. There's a pretty cool Flay version here that you can play. There's a Blizzard Sorcerer here, I think from Accurite, 111. And I've not been, you know, tracking down all this stuff yet. But I will be. This tier list, I'll do my best to update. And there are some pretty cool things here, definitely. And some off-meta builds, like this Flay Barb, for example. I've seen it hit for billions of damage as well. And I definitely want to check that out. And I think the game is just amazing, guys. Even though there's a couple bugs here and there, like there's a Helltide bug, there's a, you know, double dipping bug with the Holy Bolt Elixir, there's double dipping bug on Rogue. Just all kinds of crazy things. But it's been a lot of fun, and I think this is one of the best seasons that the game had yet. I'm looking forward for the future. And yeah, if you want to enjoy the season, why not try out here some Necro, some Barb, or some Rogue. Hope you enjoyed the video, my friends, and I will see you soon. Enjoy. GG. If you liked this video, make sure to subscribe, leave a like or a comment. I'm also live on Twitch almost every day, so come and say hi.